objection is a little bit different than yesterday because we're talking about using the distance formula. All right, warm up is just like the last couple of days. We've been classifying triangles. On number one, I have an angle that's bigger than 90. What do I call that? Obtuse. All right, obtuse. And then the next one, if all the sides are thanks so much. All right. If all the sides are different with one tick mark, two tick mark, three tick marks, if they're all different, we call that what? Scalene. So obtuse. If an angle's bigger than 90, y'all got to know this word by now. Scalene if all the sides are not equal, if they're all different, right? Now, number two, I can see three equal sides. That means the angles are also going to be equal. If I know they're going to be three equal sides and they all add up to 180, what's each of these angles going to be if they add up to 180? Less than 90, okay. Let's just take 180 and divide by 3. What do we get? 60. So actually, every one of these angles is exactly 60 degrees. And y'all got to know that from now on. If it's equilateral, every angle has to be 60. Equal angles, equal sides, right? So if all the angles are 60, what kind of triangle is that? Acute. You can tell just by looking at it, but now we know for sure with the numbers, they're all less than 90, so acute. And if all the sides are the same, what do I call that? Equilateral. Okay. Cool. Now we're going to do these notes. If you didn't already grab a calculator, you need to do that. Okay. And if you did not grab a ruler, you're going to need a ruler. You're going to be typing stuff with me today because we are using the distance formula. Okay. So let me pull this up here. Okay. So right now, everybody, I want you to write this down. On your notes, you're going to write D equals square root sign, parentheses, x squared minus x1, sorry, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, all in parentheses. Can everybody write this down at the top of your page right now? Right? Top of your page. Top there, you're going to write it down. You may have done this algebra 1. Okay, let's do this. Okay, first things first. On number one, does everyone see the 3 points A, B, and C? I need you to plot those 3 points. And I know some people struggle with plotting. When you plot, it's x, which is horizontal, left, right, and then y, which is up and down. Okay, so x is left and right. Remember, negative is to the left, and then y is up and down, negative is down. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot these points. Negative 4, comma 8. So we're going to start at 0. I'm going to go 4 to the left. Oh, sorry. Let's start with A. 1, comma 2. My bad. 1 to the right, up 2. Put a point there. That's letter A, right? Negative 4, 8. 1, 2 is over 1, up 2. Right there. That other point isn't right. So negative 4, comma 8 means left 4. up 8, put a point there. That's your letter B. And then C, negative 5, negative 6. So 5 to the left, 6 down. Because negative is left and negative is down. Okay, that's letter C. Now you're going to do what I'm going to do. Okay, we want to make nice straight lines. I'm going to need a triangle, so you want to use your ruler to make straight lines. And I'm going to try to use it on my laptop here and see if I can't make some straight lines. So better than I want to be by straight hand. Is everyone making straight lines between these points? So we got 1, 2, negative 4, 8, negative 5, negative 6. Nice straight line, ruler. Now, today we're doing what we did the last 2 days. We're going to classify it. If you look at the bottom, it's going to ask us what type of triangle is this? What kind of triangle is ABC? So just like the warm-up, you're supposed to tell me what it is by the angles and the sides. But when we graph it, I want to know the exact length. Okay? Sometimes it looks the same, but it's not. How do you know if it's the same? Today we're going to use the distance formula to figure that out. Okay? So everybody, I want you to do this with me step by step, and we're going to type it in our calculator step by step. So you want to make sure here. Can you move it back? So that way you can do this with me. Okay, so first things first, let's draw. We're going to write our formula. So go ahead and put a big square root sign right here above AB. Make it long because you're going to write a lot of stuff underneath it, okay? A long square root. And then you put your parentheses, okay? So I'm just following what's up here at the top, right? So square root, parentheses. Now, we're supposed to write x squared minus x1. Sorry, x2 minus x1. Does everyone see we're doing AB? So I'm going to use these points and these points for A and for B, okay? So what is x2 and what is x1? So x2 is this x, the second x value, negative 4. x1 is this first x value, positive 1. So I'm going to write negative 4 minus 1. Negative 4 minus sign 1. Parentheses squared. Okay. Plus. Now, I just did all this stuff. Now I'm going to do y2 minus y1. So my second y value is 8 minus my first y value is 2. So 8 minus sign 2, parentheses squared. And all of that is underneath the square root sign. It's a long square root. All of this is underneath it. Okay? This, in my opinion, is the hardest part, writing it out correctly. Okay? Next step is you need to be able to type this in perfectly into the calculator, and you'll get your length. Okay? So that's what we're going to do together here. So let me pull this over here. All right. So everyone, make sure your calculator is on. Go to a new document, go to a new calculator. So you're at this screen with me. Okay. And the first thing you're going to press is square root sign. Do y'all know where the square root sign is? Right above x squared. So if you hit Control x squared next to 4, okay, let's do that. Control x squared. It starts my square root. Now it's going to get longer as I type, but now I'm going to type all this stuff in. Everyone, very important. You got to know when it's a negative. You got to know when it's a minus. Okay? So let me point it out here. In front of a number is a negative sign. Between them is a minus sign. If you put a negative where there's supposed to be a minus, it's going to change your answer. Let's type this carefully together. I'm going to start with a parentheses, right? Negative sign, 4, minus sign 1. And then n parentheses squared. Do not go to the right. Just continue typing. Go ahead and hit plus sign. And then again, open parentheses, 8 minus sign 2, end parentheses, and don't forget your last squared there. Everyone needs to type that. If your square root doesn't go all the way across, you need to try it again. Okay? Make sure you're able to type that. Now, when you hit enter and try this, you should get this number. 7.81025. If you got something different, check the minus and the negatives. Okay? Make sure you didn't forget a square. And if you're not sure, if you got something else, and you're not sure what went wrong, let me know. I'll look at it. So this is going to be a minus sign. All right, so everybody, next to AB, write this down, 7.81. We know the distance of one segment, okay? Now that might seem like a lot of work, but once you get the hang of it, it'll be all right, okay? So, we just did AB, right? Now let's do BC. I'm gonna pick a different color here. Darker blue. Okay, so for BC, now I'm gonna use the B numbers and the C numbers, okay? So once again, put a big old square root sign. Parentheses, and again, I'm doing x2 minus x1. Now, with B and C, I'm going to look at C for my x2. My x2 is the x value of C, which is -5. And then it's going to be minus the x value of the B, which is -4. So now this can be kind of tricky, so check it out. It's going to be -5 minus sign, negative sign 4. Okay. Now I exaggerated the length of that just to, I guess it's a little too big. Okay. So again, it's -5 minus -4. Now, if you know about minus negatives, this could be turned into a what? A plus sign, right? Which is fine. I just like to just type it the way I see it, okay? If you turn it into a plus sign, just don't confuse things, okay? Some people take the shortcut and get more confused. So I'm going to put squared now, plus parentheses, and now again I'm doing y2 minus y1. So y2 is -6, y1 is 8. So negative sign 6 minus sign 8. Don't forget the parentheses squared at the end. If you can type it in right, or if you can write it correctly, now you just got to type it correctly. Let's do that. Remember, squared is control x squared for the square root sign, I should say. And then we're going to hit that open parentheses, negative sign 5, minus sign, negative sign 4, parentheses squared, plus, parentheses, negative sign 6, minus sign 8, parentheses squared. See the little differences between minus and negative, okay? Go ahead and type those in, see what you get. If you typed it in correctly, you should get 14.032. that typing. We got our next one. Now I want to round this. Let's see let's see if we remember rounding. Okay. If it's 14.03, if I'm going to round this 3, how do I round? Do I just write 3 or what do I need to look at? Do y'all remember? Okay, check it out. So where the 3 is, I want to round that. So I look to the right of it. What number is to the right of 3 here? 5. If it's 5 or greater, that's going to round 3 up to 4. Since it's 5, it's going to round this 3 up to 4. Okay? If this is 4 or less, it stays 3. That's how rounding works. Okay? So we're going to put 14.04, and it's because of the 5 after it. Okay? 14.04. We rounded 2 decimal places, or better put, we rounded to the hundredths place. Okay? Next one, AC. Let's use green. Okay. Big square root sign. Okay. And now I'm going to use A and C. Okay. So I'm going to do x2, -5, minus x1, +1. So -5 minus 1 squared plus y2 minus y1, -6 and 2. So -6 minus sign 2, parentheses squared. Make sure your square root sign goes all the way across. And once again, it's a type it in, get your answer. So control x squared, parentheses, -5 minus sign 1, parentheses squared, plus, parentheses, -6 minus sign 2, parentheses squared. You can type those in, you can get your answer, which is actually a nice non-decimal number, whole number, 10. Okay. So I know all 3 sides. Okay. Now I want you to think about this like the warm-up in yesterday's assignment. If all the side lengths are different, what do you call that? Just like the warm-up. You remember that word, scalene? Is everyone with me? We're almost done with number 1. We're not done with number 1 yet, okay? Because it asks us the question right after it. What kind of triangle is ABC? So we're going to write scalene because every side is different. You're looking at these numbers. They're all different. Scalene, okay? If 2 of them are the same, it's isosceles. If they're all the same, equilateral, right? Okay. So that's scalene. And then we got to look at the angles. Now, real quick. Depending how nice your lines are, it might be hard to see. Now, angle A, that kind of looks like it's 90. What do y'all think? Do you think it's greater than 90 or less than, or what do you think? Look at your paper, how you drew. Does it look 90 or less? Or more? More. Thank you so much. It does look a little bit more. Now, do y'all know how to tell if it's for sure 90? Well, you could use a protractor to measure this stuff. But y'all remember when we had perpendicular lines, they were 90 degrees, right? And the slopes were what? The slopes had 2 changes, right? Opposite reciprocals. Does that ring a bell from Unit 2, right? So real quick, I'm going to just check these 2 slopes, and let's see if they're opposite reciprocals. Because if not, then we're going to go with obtuse. Here we go. So from B to A goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -6/5 is the slope here. And then from C to A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8/6, which is 4/3. Now y'all tell me, -6/5 that flip and change the sign? They're not even the same numbers, right? So these are not perpendicular slopes. This angle is a little bit bigger than 90, so we're going to call that what? What's bigger than 90? What do we call it? Obtuse. Okay. So do y'all see how this works? You got to classify it at the end, but you're using the numbers you get to figure that out. Cool? All right, number 2, plot the following points. Is everyone able to plot those points again? Let's do it right now. Plot those 3 points. Starting with letter D, 3, 6. E is negative 1, 3. F is 2, 7. Now this is kind of weird because they're close to each other. Use your ruler to make nice straight lines. Is everyone doing number 2 with me? So you're using these numbers. 3, 6, right? Over 3 up 6. Left 1 up 3. Over 2 up 7. And use this to make straight lines. Okay, now can y'all find all 3 distances using the distance formula like we just did on number 1? Okay. So let's go ahead and write these formulas real quick. I'm going to write all my distance formulas first, and then I'll just plug them in the calculator second, and then I'll have my numbers, okay? So first things first. Long square root sign. For DE, I'm going to do x2 minus x1. Negative 1 minus sine 3 squared plus y2 minus y1. 3 minus 6 minus sine 6 squared. Now I'm going to do EF. Big old square root. EF. So x2 minus x1. So 2 minus negative 1. Careful here. It's minus sign, negative sign, 1. Squared plus y2 minus y1. 7 minus 3. Squared. Last one, df, big old square root. From d to f, we're going to do x2 minus x1. So 2 minus 3 minus sine 3 squared plus 7 minus 6. 7 minus sine 6 squared. Okay. If you can write out your formulas, then it's just a bunch of plugging it in. Let's do that. Control x squared, negative 1 minus 3 squared plus 3 minus 6 squared. So if you can plug it in, I get 5. From D to E, apparently it's 5. Exactly. Cool. EF, square root, parentheses, 2 minus sign, negative sign, 1, parentheses squared, plus, parentheses, 7, minus sign, 3, parentheses squared. I got 5 again. So DE and EF, those are the same. Put tick marks there. Why not? But the last one looks a little shorter. Let's find out. Square root, parentheses, 2 minus 3, parentheses squared, plus sign parentheses, 7 minus 6, parentheses squared. I got 1.41. So after getting these numbers, I see two of them are the same. Only two. What do you call it when only two sides are the same? Isosceles, like your eyes. Two like your eyes, isosceles. And all the angles look less than 90. What do you call that? Acute. Okay. An isosceles, acute triangle. Do you see how you need to use distance formula to figure out the numbers? I'm looking for these numbers. Then you can determine what it is. Okay. So we don't have enough time to finish it, but we're gonna at least get this in your hand to start it, and then work on it tomorrow. The distance formula classifying triangles packet. So let me pass that up.